then my journey transformed or morphed into something much deeper than its original intent. And so I think then what happened, the things that happened and the people I met, the places I ended up, because I didn't know where they were going to be and who they were going to be when I started. I think that all happened because the questions that I had changed. And so then I ended up sitting under the Bodhi tree where the Buddha was enlightened in Bodh Gaya in India.
I've been there myself.
It's a wonderful place.
It's a lovely spot,
I
yeah.
did a retreat there. I was in northern Pakistan, where outside of a place called Mari, which is named after Mary, where supposedly, in the lost 18 years of the Bible, Jesus and Mary and Thomas journeyed, while Jesus was undergoing his studies to become this great teacher. So, I mean, this is controversial. A lot of people wouldn't acknowledge that, but in that part of the world, people accept that a man named Isa came. And Thomas died in, I think it was southern Kerala. I could be wrong on that one, but it was southern India. They sort of went their separate ways, and of course Jesus returned to the Holy Land and resumed and actually took up his mantle of teaching at the age of 30. So there was this period where he was missing in the Bible. Also in Kashmir, where I'd been, where I was hijacked on an airplane, in Kashmir there's a place that people there revere as a burial place for Jesus. Now that's an interesting concept. So there was
Kashmir, did you say?
In Kashmir, in what is today India. So all of these things, Steve, were opening up my mind and my vision to, my gosh, there's more happening here. I'm not saying it's all true. It doesn't really matter. It's more like it's a journey, and it's a journey of discovery. And to me, life is a continuing, magical, mysterious journey. I don't have all the answers. I don't even want them. I just think it's so much more fun when you can embrace the magic of it. And my story, as I describe it in Search of Simplicity, is a magical story. It's a story of an ordinary man, me, just an ordinary person, but there was magic happening all the time. I would meet someone that as an example, the guy that I shared my tent with in Norway was from South Africa. His name was Dean. Dean, I hadn't seen since I had that time with my meningitis. And Dean ended up sitting in a restaurant in Kathmandu. And I saw him. I was in the same restaurant, and we ended up talking to each other again and getting back together and spending a good bit of quality time together on the other side of the world, years after this all originally happened.
It's amazing when you get in that the flow of your own life and your own spiritual questing. It seems to be that the spirit or the soul's journey in this life is just as, if not more important than our physical journey and our physical needs and material needs and that. So this is very much the path or the journey that you describe in your book, In Search of Simplicity. Now, and I realise that we are starting to run out of time on our session. We may be able to go a little longer. But regarding your book here, John, you mentioned that it's a great tale, and it weaves in these spiritual questings of yours within the covers of this book. And John has recently published this book and spent a lot of time and effort on it. And we can offer you a copy of this to the first person who would like to drop into the Tihiku studio at the reception. There will be a free copy of this book for them to pick up. In Search of Simplicity, a true story that changes lives, by John Haines. He's a local man, and please, if you see it in the bookshop, support his efforts and buy it.
Thank you, Steve.